My name is Nick Klein. I am the Active Schools Manager. I'm joined today by Brian DeVore. So let's start off with some introductions. Brian, why don't you go ahead and get us started?
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian DeVore, Open's Professional Development and Outreach Manager, and Open and US Games are thrilled to work with Action for Healthy Kids and Active Schools on this year's Family PE Week. So we've worked together in the past to provide teachers with resources and things that they need in order to make the event happen. And this year, it looks like, Nick, most of the folks will be face to face, and some will be able to have parents come into their actual classrooms. Others still may be virtual, but we'll provide the resources to help them any way we can, right?
That's right. So this sense of normalcy is that term that's overused. So just to give people a perspective of where this event, this initiative has really risen from. As you know, in the past, it was Take Your Parent to PE Week. And that's what this event was previously known as. And then as we all know, the pandemic changed things. So we quickly shifted to Families Love PE Week. So that's our hashtag, Families Love PE. And we really give teachers the option. So if you are allowed to and can include parents within your classes, we encourage you to do so. But if not, there are plenty of other resources, which we'll talk about here soon.
Perfect. So, like I said, Open and US Games are thrilled to work with both organizations, Active Schools and Action for Healthy Kids, to make this happen. And we have our website that has been up and running for the last couple of weeks. We have hundreds of schools that have signed up already to participate in the event. So, Nick, do you want to take a look at the website and kind of walk people through some of the resources today?
Let's do that. And while you're pulling that up, we will talk about that registration process. So this is totally free. There is no requirement or cost of any kind, but we do ask people to register so that we can track the engagement. And of course, this is a voluntary process. You can participate without registering, but by registering, we can really make a bigger impact because we can see how many teachers are out there that are participating, or if you're not a teacher, the other like PTA members, administrators, classroom teachers that are participating on their own level. So please take the few minutes to fill out that registration form.
It's also fun to see how many students across the country are participating in this, and hopefully how many families have been invited into the physical education classrooms, because it is such a wonderful advocacy tool for your physical education program to get people in to see what you're doing every day with their children.
Exactly. So we do see the dates there. This event is taking place October 3rd through the 7th. We've already heard from a number of teachers who that week doesn't work for them. So this is where we suggest you hold this event. But if for some reason your calendar, your schedule prevents you from doing so, you can hold it earlier, or you can hold it later in the school year. The resources will still be available.
I've heard from some teachers also, Nick. Yes, you're absolutely right. Some of them have a fall break during that time, or have some early release time where it's not a full class period and they don't see all their classes. So I said, hey, can we run it the week before? Sure, absolutely. Make it work for you and your schedule. Some people would like to run it during their conference week. If the schools have conference week and parents or caretakers are in and out of the school building, it's a wonderful opportunity for them to be in the school building, stop in at physical education class and participate.
Great. So as you just pulled up, this is the landing page with the resources that are available. So we see that there is the link to register, which you have that awesome add-on that you just told me about from Google. So I love that. Very easy to see where that finger icon is pointing. So you click on that. There's a very short Google form to fill out. And then as we continue on down, we see the rest of the tools and resources that are available. So starting up at the top there, the letter to send home. So this letter is available, as you see, in Microsoft Word. And this letter is just to inform families of what you are doing or what your intentions are. So you fill it out in Word. There are some text that are in red print that you can customize to suit your situation and what your process is going to be with this event.
Yeah, and that's the important part is getting that information home to parents. And there's a variety of ways that teachers can do that, Nick. Either through a website if they have their own website for physical education at their school. Reaching out to classroom teachers to and provide them with the text that they need to include it into newsletters home, whether they be through emails or on their own class websites or blogs. But I guess really another step, and really probably the first and most important step, Nick, is for them to reach out to their administrators and make sure they get permission for this and see how things can look. If we're starting from ground level, you always want to reach out to your principals, your assistant principals, and schedule a short conference with them, a 15-minute conference to go in and explain to them what the event is about, when you would like to do it, and have a game plan in mind for, okay, this is what I want to do. I want to have parents come into the classrooms if that's, allowable by your school or your district. And I want to show them about physical education and have them participate that day. Having that administrative approval obviously is great and a necessary step in the process, but also with that, it also gives you another touch point as a physical education teacher with your administration and show them some of the good things that you're doing in the physical education classes. And in turn, make sure you invite that administrator in. If they say it's okay to have, make sure that you let them know, okay, I need to see you in there, because it would be great for you to come in and work with the kids, and also have the parents see you, involved in the physical education classes too, right?
You totally read my mind. You started talking about that, and I was like, this is not just an event to advocate with families, but also, like you just mentioned. So we want to celebrate everything that is awesome about physical education. And as we all know, anyone who's watching this, and Brian, I know from knowing you, there are a lot of parents and administrators out there who did not participate in a quality physical education program when they were in school. And they need to be reminded many, many times that today's physical education is much different, generally speaking, than it was when they were in school. So great tool
Absolutely.
to advocate, great opportunity to advocate with everyone, all your spheres of influence.
And I guess the other thing too, Nick, is when you go into that administrator and speak about it, is to kind of have a game plan in action, how you want to do it. Most teachers, if they have parents that come into the building, they're going to invite the parents to come, for one specific class period. If I have, if I'm an elementary teacher and I teach K-5 each day, I want to make sure that I give, all my students, of course, the opportunity to have their families come in to enjoy PE. But then also, I may want to stagger it out a little bit during the week, so it's not showtime for 5 days, 5 days in the week that week. Stagger it out if you can hit everyone over a period of 3 days and do a Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But let your administrator know, hey, this is my plan, so that they have an idea of what's going on, and even sketch it out on paper so that they can look at it and or shoot it to them in an email ahead of time, so that they have something to look at, and they understand, okay, this isn't a thing that that Coach DeVore or Coach Klein's just throwing together. This is a thing that they've put some thought into, and they have thought out all the different logistics of how to get these families into our PE classrooms.
Definitely. So we talked about the letter home, which you, like you said, we can send home in multiple ways. If you're looking for something else to advertise, you see the save the date flyers. So you can post those on social media. One is if you are planning to do this in person, and the other is if you have some other process where it will be virtual, or it will be activities sent home, which we'll get into shortly. So two different options there to save the date, depending on the route that you choose to take for Families Well PE Week.
And we tried to design this to be super inclusive, so that if you aren't allowed to have families come into your buildings, and there are some areas where it's not okay to bring outsiders into the building on a regular basis, or allow them to come in and work into the classrooms that students are working in. So we wanted to make sure that we provided that virtual or at-home option, and there's a ton of different ways you can make that work. So if you want to do it that way and participate in that option, again, still make sure you go by and speak with your administrator about it. Have a plan how you're going to do it, whether it's videos that you upload, whether it's activities you send home with the students in order to have them work at home, and determine how they're going to go ahead and participate.
Great. So as we scroll down, we see that we have three different grade level bands. And the first thing I will point out is a lot of times, very often, we think of things like this as being elementary focused. And anytime we can advocate, I think it's important to advocate at all levels, including secondary. So we did want to make sure we included the secondary folks. So if you're a secondary teacher listening in, thank you so much for getting involved and embracing this opportunity.
And sometimes too, at the secondary level, it's a little bit more feasible for them to do that at home or virtual option, where they do go home and they do something, you know, with their families. Because remember, it's Families Love PE. So it could be that a student who's a junior in high school goes home and works with a younger sibling who's in elementary school. And that's still part of Families Love PE week. So it's not necessarily a thing where it's about the parents or the guardians or the caretakers, but it can also be, you know, families and kids working together within the same family or within, you know, a same neighborhood.
Definitely. So as we scroll down, let's start at K2 and just kind of walk through the list that's available. We see once again, there is that letter template, which you can send home, and then the activities that are available, which come in a packet form. So the K2 activity menu is things that you can choose from. And these activities, what we had, the content manager from Open, I believe, really led the force. So shout out to Nicole Wilder for her support with this. Chose activities that would be conducive for larger groups or for that age level gap where you have the young ones and then these big kids, the parents coming in who are going to suddenly immerse themselves in activities during PE class.
Yeah, and one of the newer activities, and you see it available in all three grade bands, is the Rhythm Fit activities, which are some rhythm activities that don't require a ton of equipment, but you see also not only is there a PDF with some of the instructions for it, but there's also a YouTube video that teachers can click on the link in order to access that so that they can go and take a look there. And I think also, Nick, it's important to mention that you know, these are suggested activities. They're not things that teachers have to do. So don't feel like as you are participating in Family PE Week, don't feel like you have to do the things that are on this list. If you have other things that you've done in the past that have worked, or you have other activities that, you know, that you do maybe on a PTA night with families that come through your gym, feel free to do that. We wanted to make sure, though, that we provided some activities that we knew that teachers had used and are proven in the classroom to work, like you said, in these sort of situations where it's large groups and, you know, you're able to get everybody moving, everybody participating, but then also age appropriate for either the K2 band, 3-5, or grades 6 to 12.
Definitely. And the one other piece there that we see at all three grade levels is the academic language cards. So those are the key vocabulary that are included with the activities that we suggested. And this is one part of Open that I have to, again, recognize, because this is where we can really show parents the rigor that takes place in physical education, that it's not just the roll out the ball or something that they may have experienced, and really where we do want to share that content knowledge, that physical literacy is more than just the skill, but also creating this print-rich environment so that the students totally understand the skills that we're teaching them.
Absolutely. You know, the academic language and, you know, the cards that we have, they include the part, or the term, the part of speech, the definition, and then use the word in a sentence. So obviously a wonderful tool to utilize, like you said, Nick, to let people know that, hey, we're just not coming in here playing games. We're learning about you know, physical education, because there is a distinct difference between physical education and physical activity, and we want to let you know, the families know who come into our classrooms, and the administrators also, because like I said, if you have your principal or AP or other teachers who come in, it shows them and really showcases your physical education program that, yes, it is physical education, not just physical activity.
Yes, for sure. And then at the elementary level, we see the active family challenge chart. So this is a really great resource to utilize, whether or not you're allowed to have parents in. So it can be a supplement to that if you are doing the take your parent to PE part of it, or if you're not allowed to or don't have your schedule doesn't permit, this could be a very super easy way to celebrate this event by sending this chart home. So you print this chart off, send it home with families. They can earn points, and again, the points are somewhat loose. What term am I looking for there? So it's subjective in a way, because there is no gold medal given out. But we often know we wear Fitbits and things like that because we like earning those points or those badges or those stars or those credits for doing the things that we would already do anyway. So this chart challenges you. There's some minute win it like games with the links in them to explain those. There's some family fitness challenges. There are some advocacy parts where we're asking parents to thank administrators or principals and things of that sort to recognize the importance of physical education. And then another social media component where you're making a post on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram using that hashtag that we mentioned earlier, Families Love PE.
Right, and that I do like that part where if families cannot come in and being able to utilize that family challenge chart. A lot of the schools where families aren't allowed to come in, parents or guardians cannot come into the classrooms. A lot of them do have, a Facebook page for the school, and and asking them, hey, take a picture of your family doing the challenge, for the night, and just post it to the school page. That's fine too. And if you can put the Families Love PE hashtag, which of course we would love for you to put in there, that's great. But even if it's a closed Facebook page that no one else has access to, it still shows the community and shows that school community that physical education is important and advocates for your program and shows them some of the good things that are going on, right, Nick?
I totally, yep, you said it best right there.
So, well, Nick, and we wanted to make sure that we provided teachers and those who were thinking about signing up or those who had already signed up kind of a loose template of what they needed to do to give them some direction on where they needed to go next in case they were unsure. So I guess to kind of break it all down in a nutshell, the first step obviously would be to check in with administration with a plan that you have in order to implement this. And as we said, most teachers, they try to implement this in the classroom, in their physical education classroom, face-to-face during the regular physical education class period. So you can see that is basically how most teachers did it pre-pandemic. But if you can't have families come into your classroom, have that alternative for them to participate virtually. We gave some options as far as, being able to post some photos maybe on some social media or somehow be able to share those, with the PE teacher. And, some of it may be where, hey, take a picture at home and email it to me at school, and I can highlight some of them, in class and show just where you're showing, the in the child's class, hey, this is, Nick's family doing PE at home, and I'm sure, the student would get a charge out of that, seeing their family up there, on the projector, in front of the rest of their classmates participating in PE. So, but having that plan in place, how are we going to implement that? Making that communication home to the families to share with them, first of all, how is it going to be face to face? If it is face to face, when can they come? And then, of course, what are the virtual options if you're going to do virtual, or what are both options if you want to go in between? I would also recommend in there that you have some sort of a sign up, whether it be a Google form or some type of link, so that how many people to potentially expect coming into your classrooms.
During
Because
class period. Yep.
yeah, because it's one thing to have 60 little kindergarten bodies running around, but when you have 60 kindergarten bodies and 30 adults running around too, things get a little bit more crowded all of a sudden. So it'll help you to plan and know what you need to do as a teacher. And then, of course, figure out the activities that you want to do, whether they be activities that Open and Active Schools have provided here at the bottom in the different grade bands. But, it may be an activity, though, that you've done in the past at PTA nights or other things that your students really love, and you want to share it with your parents. So don't feel like you're locked into these resources and these are the only things that you can use. And then, of course, I think, kind of the final component Nick, that is often overlooked. I know I did it as a teacher too, is after the event's over is following up, with the administrators and letting them know how the event went. If you're able to take pictures during the event and during the week, take some pictures and let them know what happened. But also, coming back to them and saying, hey, we have 800 families in our school, and we had over 200 of them come in for physical education to participate. Again, that's a valuable tool to show that there's interest in your program and interest in physical education.
For sure.
Yep. So
we should share the websites just in case people are watching this and are not directly connected to one of our organizations. So if you want more information, you can go to the Active Schools website, which is activeschoolsus.org, or the Open website, which is OPENPhysEd.org. And then from there, you'll find the quick, easy links to the landing page, which we were just on and walking you through right there down at the bottom, the Family PE Week landing page.
Yep, that's it. All right, Nick. So in closing, anything else before we kick it over to the teachers and let them take the ball and run?
No, good luck. And again, let those social media posts fly during that week or after the week so we can see the great things that are taking place.
Absolutely. Hashtag families love PE. Can't wait to see you all having fun with the families and the kids during that week or whenever you get the opportunity to hold Families Love PE Week. Thanks a lot, Nick, for joining us today. Appreciate the time.
Thanks, Brian.